Hello, everybody. My name is Alesh Eisner, and this is my friend Rob. We thought we would do a something a little different this time, a bit of a podcast format. So this is going to be a series of 7 questions in part one, 7 questions in part two. We'll just read out the question, and then we'll both answer it. We'll debate. We'll ask questions, and hopefully everybody will get some good value out of it. The concept of financial independence, retire early or FIRE, has been around for a while. It means not having to work 9 to 5 and living frugally, saving a large percentage of your income prior to leaving the 9 to 5 job. After quote unquote retiring, the FIRE person has more free time and, depending on their finances, can travel or perhaps take on some fun side hustles. How did you discover the idea of FIRE? And what do you think about the fast growing FIRE community?
Yeah, to be honest, I never heard of this fire term until maybe 2 years ago on YouTube. And there was a couple YouTubers, I think an Asian, yeah, Beat the Bush or something, or Graham Stephan. They all mentioned fire, and then I started looking into it. Everything makes sense. It's just now that people have it like a blueprint as to what they need to do, everything's more defined, and they have like a goal to reach. Back when I started all this, I didn't have it. I just know that if I'm spending, let's say, what, 15-20% of my income and just making a lot more, then I'll be closer to that goal like sooner, I guess. But I still wouldn't know like a defined fire retirement, fire being fire actually, like where you do like the 4% take, and then let's say if you have $1 million and then you take 25K every year, can you live off that? Like I didn't have that. I just enjoying this process. I just enjoy this process going up, and I never stopped to look at what kind of goals I need to hit.
Okay. Okay. Now, I think we know that you've reached the FI part of FIRE, the financial independence. The RE is sort of a nebulous thing,
Yeah,
meaning people don't really sit around for the next 40, 50 years doing nothing, in a rocking chair watching Netflix. You are running your own business, and one could argue that the investing that you're doing is active enough that you could kind of say that you've taken a second career. So definitely the FI. Do you think you're also doing the RE?
the RE, it depends on the person as well. I don't think I'll ever just sit around and just rely on passive income. I don't think I can ever do that.
Hmm.
Like I actually enjoy looking at stocks. I enjoy looking at business opportunities. I enjoy all this. This is like what I want to do, and ultimately that's my definition of being financially free. Is being able to choose your own projects, the stuff you want to spend your time on. Right now, I could be spending time making these YouTube videos. I can spend like 10 hours making one video, and the return is zeros right now, but I still enjoy it. It's it's what I choose to do. I I don't know. I can charge someone for consulting me maybe and make $1,000 off my 10 hours, but I'm fine this way. I don't want to deal with clients. I'm happy the way this is, and
Mhm.
uh, that's my definition of fire. And this retire early is, like you said, sitting around on the beach, sipping mojitos all day. It's how many years of that can you do? Like honestly,
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, it depends what you want out of life. I think there's a small percentage of people who actually do want to do nothing. I have a feeling that most people just don't enjoy their job, and
yeah,
so they want to get out. They either don't enjoy it, they find it stressful, or whatever it is. So I think just from observation, a lot of fire people are either IT or lawyers or people in high paying stressful jobs that one day kind of said, okay, this has to end, and it has to end fairly soon. And so they've decided, okay, for the next 5 years, we're going to work as hard as we can, we're going to save as much as we can, and then we're just going to quit. And I'm on YouTube, I'm following one couple that moved to Portugal because it's way cheaper to live there. um, I actually, I think I was pretty much like you. I didn't really know about fire at all, as an official name. I had sort of been doing it all the way along, but for me, the two people that you mentioned, Graham Stephan and Beat the Bush, I watched their videos as well. For me, it was Mr. Money Mustache, who's I think kind of the original fire guy. He's actually Canadian, and so that's how I found out. But yeah, I don't think most people want to sit in a rocking chair for the next 40 years. They just want to do what's fun. So like even the YouTubers that talk about fire, they're getting paid by YouTube.
Yeah.
And people just take on a career that they enjoy. So rather than calling it fire, if you had just switched careers when you discovered that yours wasn't for you, you could have just done the same thing. So maybe after 20 years, you decided that, being a lawyer wasn't the thing for you and you wanted to become singer or whatever artist, right? Then you could have done that. But most want to have that passive income and then just either do it as a hobby or do it as a side hustle. And if it turns into something great, if not, then they still have that passive income. So uh, for for me, if people want to do fire, and there's so many different versions of fire as well. Some like fat fire, lean fire. Like some people want to have a lot of money saved up so they can save big and enjoy the rest of their lives. Other people are willing to. I think I'm sort of lean fire, willing to live on 30,000 a year. And so if that's your goal and that's what you want to do, it's great that you have goals and you have something to shoot for. So okay, so we covered fire there. Let's question number 5. You want to read that one?
Yep. You're, I think we talked about most of it, but you're investing in real estate. What made you start in real estate, and how is it different from other vehicles like stocks?
Yeah. So yeah, I think we did cover a lot of it. So I'll be brief. Uh, I originally wanted to be 50% in real estate and 50% in stocks, or stock like vehicles, including mutual funds and ETFs. Uh, for a while, it stayed like that, and then as I made more money, I put that into stocks because it's difficult. You can buy $5,000 worth of mutual fund or stock, but to buy real estate, you have to put together a lot more money. So money just ended up going into stocks by default.
Yeah.
So certainly now it's sort of outbalanced. Like I'm like 2.5 in liquid assets, and then about a million three in real estate. But of course, I sold one of the houses for 300, so I'm down to about a million in real estate. And uh, like real estate is kind of the traditional investment of rich people. So I was sort of building up my empire. But stocks, I think they're great diversifiers from each other. They don't move the same. Stocks are a lot more volatile, but over time they'll outperform real estate. What had happened in Vancouver a few years back, notwithstanding. Real estate can also lose money though, as we saw in the U.S., and can lose money pretty big if something bad happens. But it tends to be more stable. So I kind of wanted to use real estate sort of as a bond with uh, the rent being the interest from the bonds. So yeah, but just with the with what I had said before. I'm going to get out of real estate slowly. So, so what about you? You have a couple of holdings. How is it
Yeah.
compared to your liquid assets?
Yeah, and for me, getting into real estate was for diversification, like you, and also for leveraging, getting a mortgage, and getting the multiplier, and also the brick mentality. In Chinese, we have this mentality: you you want to buy bricks, which means you want to buy houses because people always need houses,
Mhm.
and that's the mentality all along, and it's worked. So why break, like why change whatever like that's worked for hundreds of years? And I find that how real estate is different from stocks is that is really illiquid. Let's say if I have $1 million unit and I want to, that's priced like a market price of $1 million, and I want to sell it at $1 million, it could take me 3 to 6 months
Mhm.
to sell it at that price. But if I was able, if I was willing to mark it down to like 20% off, like 800,000, then I could maybe get it out in like a month, possibly. But it still takes a lot of time to get the money in my pocket,
Mhm.
even after the deal is done, right? So, but stocks, I can just snap. I can just get my money out the same day almost. Like that's
Yeah.
the ultimate differentiator. And another thing is that for stocks, there is a market price and is globally known. Everyone can just go on Finance Yahoo and see the price at that time for that stock. But for real estate, you can only find comparables. You can find, oh, this house down the block is selling for 1 million too. Maybe I can market for 1 million too. But then you go inside, you say the condition is like brand new. They have an extra bedroom or bathroom, or they have a sauna or whatever. So every house is unique, kind of. Even if they're in the same block, you can still, the price can still fluctuate 15-20% possibly, and and it really depends on the buyer as well. If the buyer don't like your decor, they wouldn't pay a penny for it. Like that's that's how I look at things. But for stocks, it's as uniform. Like my share is same as Alesh's share.
Mhm.
So if I'm willing to sell it, someone's gonna buy it, right? Depends on that price, the market price, right? So that's how I look at real estate and stocks. But ultimately, you want to stay diversified, and yeah, and
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're different animals. Both of them. They have their pluses and minuses. They're good for diversification in that they act differently. Yeah, real estate sales you have to plan, and there's a whole bunch of paperwork and so on. With the stock, you can get your money out very quickly. It's very liquid. Uh, if the volatility of the stocks doesn't bother you, then it's a good vehicle. But yeah, the real estate is good for diversification. So
yeah,
uh,
and there's one more thing I want to add. It's that the management side, like for
hmm,
real estate, either you manage yourself or you find someone to manage it.
mhm,
This whole process takes time. Like you need to screen through property management places. You need to screen through your tenants. You need to screen through the real estate you buy. There's a lot of time involved in every step of the way. But for stocks, it could be that you do some research, you buy, and then you review it maybe every quarter if you're more active, or every year if you're more passive, or even 5 years, or you just plan to hold on to Coca-Cola forever, where you just keep buying. There's no thought process behind it. So in general sense, it should be more passive in the stock market than the real estate.
yeah, absolutely. Real estate. Anybody who tells you that it's a passive investment is delusional. It's not. Uh, Even with a property manager, you still have to manage the property manager. So the stocks. I mean, yeah, you can do hours worth of research, and like guys in the investing club have spreadsheets and they calculate future cash value and cash flows and so on. So yeah, It's it, I do like to basically buy and hold. So I'll research something, I'll buy it. I need to be better at selling. I don't really find myself selling all that frequently, which I really should. But that's something to improve in the future. But yeah, technically, once you do the research once and you buy a good stock, you should just kind of check up on it occasionally and make sure that it's still kind of doing what you're looking for it to do. So
Yeah, and I think that's like the definition of being the long-term investor. Like, like if you really think about it, what would trigger your sell? Is it because the stock price dropped 20%? Is it because like they change management? Like, there's so many moving parts to a company. Like, as long as you still use the product, they still do what they say they do, and they're making positive cash. There's not much reason to sell it. You just hold on and just ride it out with them, even with the stock market crashes and such. Just ride it out.
yeah, yeah, and ideally buy more.
Yeah,
I think uh, I try to be a little bit more aware of big themes where things are changing. So the maybe renewable energy kind of coming to the forefront, and oil being less dominant now than it is, and likely not having much growth left in it before like we need to eliminate it entirely, or we're going to risk killing the planet and ourselves. So themes like that, I mean, you need to be aware. Like I stopped buying energy, like oil energy, some some while back, because I don't know where it's going to go, but I don't think there's much, uh, no pun intended, gas left in the tank.
yeah.
Uh,
So
so
much
so
upside anyway.
yeah, so I mean, you need to be aware and kind of keep an eye out on themes like that. But yeah. So question number 6, I think we kind of covered this, but just to make sure. So for your real estate holdings, do you manage the properties by yourself, or do you utilize a property management company? So just
Yeah.
to
So
recap.
I mentioned before, for the local ones, I do it myself because I enjoy chatting up with the tenants and checking out on the pets or or the kids or whatever. As for things in Hong Kong and China, I outsource it and I pay kind of like a 5% fee for this whole management and collecting rent and just changing bulbs or whatever. And I'm happy with that. I don't really plan on selling them anymore because they're maybe 25% of my portfolio is not like 50%. And as I mentioned before, the real estate game is like buy and hold forever. And I do it for the capital appreciation. And right now, the rental income is covering all the mortgages, so I just let it ride.
Okay, no, that's good. So you found like a handyman kind of person that will also show the property in China.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a one-stop shop. They do everything,
Yeah.
and it's like if they do it properly, things are pretty cheap. I think their fees are like half month of rent per year, which is what 112, 124th, so 4%. And the repairs is really cheap in China.